to confirm what I posted on Monday was in fact all part of the Vatican plan to use climate change as a way to enforce their mark. And yes, we already know that this was prophesied, but it's nice to see confirmation just the same. As I stated in the video on Monday, and you can see it here. By the way, thank you all for your help in finding info proving John Paul II did in fact ask Al Gore to help him, the Vatican that is, with climate change in the 1980s. But that being said, Rome is moving ahead with this, and now we see the U.S. Senate will in fact help them. Check this video out. Just came out today.
The Senate made history on Wednesday by overwhelmingly passing a non-binding sense of the Senate resolution, stating simply that climate change is real and not a hoax. Previous climate change-related non-binding resolutions were not supported by such large numbers. In a development that stunned Democratic senators and environmental groups, the most prominent climate change contrarian in the Senate, Environment and Public Works Committee Chairman James Inhofe, Republican, Oklahoma, joined Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island in co-sponsoring the climate amendment, which was offered during debate on a Keystone XL pipeline bill.
Okay, now, if you notice underneath the comments of this video, it says this is a surprise move for the Republicans and the Democrats to work together on this yesterday. But as students of prophecy, we know this is no surprise at all. Al Gore has been working with the Vatican since the 1980s to create this climate change agenda, allowing them to do as prophecy predicted. And like I said a moment ago, that is to have a foundation to blame Sabbath-keeping Christians that the calamities are their fault for not keeping Sunday holy. We have expected this for decades. So again, this is no surprise. However, it is a bit of a surprise in how quickly they made this bipartisan decision ahead of the upcoming visit of Jesuit Pope Francis to the United States. But then we did see that since the Pope made his announcement that climate change is real, we expected the powers that be to bow to his agenda. And so they have done just that quite speedily. Methinks it's going to be a very interesting visit between the U.S. Congress and the Pope this year. We as Christians need to understand that while we see the popes, and especially the present one, demanding a Marxist or socialist form of global governance, most who claim Christ Lord cannot discern the danger in his well-orchestrated actions any more than the disobedient Christians could see the danger of allowing Vatican prelates to serve in public office back in the 6th century. But those with the obedient hearts who now have the promised prophetic eye can clearly see why the Pope needs a socialist format for society. It has to do with the enforcing of the mark of the beast. And how does one get to that end if he was a pope with political powers that span the globe? Well, first of all, he needs to set up a foundation that will require a new world order to bring about the peace he plans to use to destroy many. How will he get there? Well, does it really matter? You can't stop him. It's prophesied to happen, no matter what. But if you want to see it as it happens, well, just watch his actions when it comes to climate change, as well as his actions towards a cashless society, or free speech for that matter. It's truly quite simple. Certain things are going to have to be put in place so as to allow him the ability to enforce that mark. He can't just demand it without having some sort of legislative structure behind it. And with that in mind, now some of you understand why all the nations, including the United States of America, are changing or have already changed their constitutions. But that all being said, there is a major problem for the people of God. Most Christians today are lukewarm, as prophecy also predicted, and they're going to miss what he's up to because of one simple factor. That factor being, of course, a lack of obedience to the God they claim as Lord. You see, the basic reality in getting your house ready is you must truly obey the Lord as his word dictates, so as to see what his word says will happen next. This is how it's always been throughout all Old and New Testament history, in fact. Man walks with God. Man is blessed by God with an understanding of his prophetic word. then history also shows how when man rebels against God, well, that very same God removes his ability to understand prophecy so as to help him better concentrate on repentance. For it is plainly written in Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he. Now do you see why none of the churches have a true ability to teach prophecy or even speak about the law of God today? First and foremost, Satan doesn't want those people ready for what's coming. So he places pastors and teachers that are disobedient to God in leadership positions, knowing they're going to keep the people in darkness. And that is exactly what the Pope and his dying God are counting on right now. Prophecy does predict most Christians will die when the eastern sky splits, and now we know why. But you and your family don't have to die with them. Instead, you can be as the wise virgins that Jesus spoke of, who had enough oil in their lamps when the bridegroom came. Thank you for watching. God bless.